Hi YouTube.
Hey YouTube.
It's Sherry and Chris, and today we want to talk about pretty much where we are in the process today. So our other two videos, the first one we did, getting started, the first video. The second video we talked about just some helpful tools that you need before conception and during the process. And so now we want to talk about where we are in this process.
Right. So basically where we are in the process right now is it's just a waiting game. We're basically tracking the ovulation. We're waiting to get the smiley face. Once we get the smiley face, then we will go in the next morning to be inseminated. So that's where we are currently in the process.
The clinic that we went through here in Atlanta, they actually require us to go through a counseling session. So we are going through that next weekend. Yeah. We're actually going through that, and basically they just want to make sure that you've thought out the process of how your family is going to be set up. The fact that there's not going to be a father in the family, there's a lesbian couple. Actually, I think they do it for heterosexual couples also, don't they? They just go through using a donor, just kind of making sure that you've thought through that process for your, just the makeup of your family. So we go through that next weekend. We've pretty much completed everything for the clinic here in Atlanta. We've wrapped up everything for the clinic in California as well. They had some over the phone consultations and a lot of paperwork that we had to fill out. It was about 16, 17 pages that we had to fill out.
Papers to fill out. Another thing I want to mention that we didn't talk about in the last two videos is the testing. I just kind of want to mention this. If you have a clinic that is not doing a great deal of testing, you may want to reconsider. The testing is done not only for your safety, but for the safety of the child. So if you have a clinic that you call them and the next day they're saying, okay, we'll inseminate you, you may want to take a few steps back and kind of see why they're not requiring those testing and not, ensuring a successful insemination. And really that's what all the testing is about.
Yeah, because when we first got started a couple of months ago, we've been going through this whole process. I was ready. I knew my ovulation. I was like, okay, can we come in that day and get inseminated? And just my own ignorance, not really understanding the process and that it takes time. And in the beginning it was frustrating because I just wanted to get on with the process, but now I appreciate the fact that both clinics want to make sure that we have thoroughly thought out this plan, and that I'm tested for everything, as well as the donor has been tested. His information's been on file for a couple of years with the sperm bank, and his sperm has been tested. So it's a win-win for everyone involved. So it's a good deal for all of us.
We have selected a donor. We selected a donor. We paid the necessary fees, had it shipped from California, and the sperm is now here in Atlanta at our clinic and just waiting for us to get the smiley face. So we have selected a donor, and we actually are ready to go.
One thing you want to do is you want to be sure, first of all, that it's in your budget. Sperm can range from anywhere to $300 up to probably in the thousands, depending on where you're going and who you're getting it from. But most of the clinics are from like $320 to $600, depending on education, depending on if they want to be known. Some clinics, there's a higher premium if the donor has a degree. So you want to be mindful of that when you're selecting a donor. Also, any shipping costs and storage costs, they will, if you buy more vials than you're going to use that month, you're going to have those stored appropriately. So most clinics are going to charge you for the storing of that. Also, the shipping from California to Atlanta is not cheap, so you want to make sure you just sit down and you budget all of that, and you're not trying to figure that out during the process. You don't want to be stressed out during the process, because the body actually will fight trying to get pregnant when you're stressed. So we're finished with all that. You also want to check with your insurance to see if they cover any of this procedure. Luckily, where we are employed, they do have same-sex coverage, so there are some things there we can take advantage of as a couple. They pretty much meet us 50% right down the line. They pretty much cover everything except for the cost of our sperm. So we're lucky to have that. So we can keep trying until we're successful. Hopefully we're successful the first
Hopefully,
time,
hopefully
first
so.
couple of times, just right away.
With that, another thing I want to mention is what you don't want to happen is you don't want to be caught in a situation where you have a smiley face, but you don't have the sperm here yet. So you don't want to be caught in a situation where you're saying, well, I'm just going to order one vial, and then we're waiting to order another vial next month. As we all know, the body is unpredictable. So you don't want to order it per month or order the vials per month. You want to order however many vials you plan on using. And what we're talking about is they use one vial per insemination. So say for instance, if it's month September and you're being inseminated in September and you don't have a successful insemination, then of course that following month you'll need to do another insemination. But it's only one vial per insemination. So keep that in mind, that it may be best in your best interest to order, try to predict how many vials you're going to order and order them in the beginning. Our actual clinic suggested that we order anywhere between 4 to 6 vials. So you want to make sure that you have vials available so that when you do get that smiley face, you're not stressed because now you either have to pay overnight shipping, which is not expensive, or which is not cheap, for the sperm. So you want to keep that in mind. Again, it's all about budgeting.
So have the sperm on hand. Right now we are at the phase of tracking ovulation. I just finished my first 6 or 7 day of the cycle. So of course I'm waiting. This is the time where we're waiting on ovulation. You start tracking your ovulation anywhere from day 12 to the end of your cycle, if you've already tracked that. So some places will tell you to track sooner. You really have to do a couple of test trial runs just to make sure you're aware of your cycle. Like I said in the beginning, when I start tracking, I ovulated between day 16 and day 19 of my cycle. After that test, the HSG test, I start ovulating sooner. So we are actually starting to test for ovulation much sooner, just because we don't want to miss the date. So right now we're in the process of tracking for ovulation. We'll let you know when we see the smiley face. Once we do, we'll be going into the clinic the next day, and hopefully we're pregnant within that first trial.
Hopefully so. That's all for now. Take care.
Wish us luck and baby dust.